Hey family, it's Dawn here. Welcome to another Soul Therapy Thursday. Today, we are going to talk about making the decision to heal. So I want to talk a little bit about what healing is, and then I also want to talk about how do we know we need healing. So this isn't going to be an exhaustive video, but I just want to make a couple of points to help us understand a little better. So what is healing? There are many definitions to heal. Dictionary.com definition says to make healthy, whole, or sound, restore to health, be free from ailment, to bring an end or conclusion. Wikipedia says it's the process of the restoration of health from an unbalanced, disease, damaged, or unvitalized organism. Sounds complicated. Merriam-Webster says to make free from injury or disease, to make sound or whole. It also says to make well again, to restore to health, to cause to be overcome, to patch up or correct, and to restore to original purity or integrity. I like Merriam's the best, especially the parts that talk to make well again, to restore, and the cause to be overcome is something I want to sit with for a little bit, to cause to be overcome. So we want to overcome, when it comes to trauma, we want to overcome all of those negative effects that it brings. So I really do like that. And of course, I like to restore to original purity or integrity, because I believe that God created us to be a certain way. I believe that God created us to have a very specific purpose in this earth. And so to be restored to his original intent is what this process is all about. However, I have my own definition of healing from a soul therapy standpoint. And my view of healing is relieving intense pain that interrupts our thoughts and emotions and interferes in our daily life. I'll say it one more time. My view of healing is relieving intense pain that interrupts our thoughts and emotions and interferes in our daily life. So I'm going to take the concept of healing just a little bit further. So I have a scar on my leg. To be honest with you, I don't even remember which leg it is at this point. I got it when I was 11. I remember where I was. I was in Detroit. I remember how old I was. I remember the rusty little trunk, the metal piece that was sticking up. And y'all, I thought I was going to die. It was the first time I ever saw what they call the white meat. I thought it was my bone. I thought I got cut all the way down to my bone and I was dying. So I remember this incident. However, I now have to look for the scar. And when I find it, it's there. I can see it. It's probably maybe about a quarter of an inch wide, and it's there. But I poke it, I touch it, I press it. It doesn't hurt. I remember the event, but it doesn't hurt anymore. I tell that story to almost all of my clients to help them understand the healing process. Yes. And it probably hurt a good, I don't know, that thing, it took a long time to heal. And so all that time, yes, it did. But it doesn't hurt anymore. And it probably started hurting by the time I got 12. So I love that, because the healing means that the scar will remain. So we don't forget. We may never forget some of the things that have happened to us, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And that we're not intimately tied. We're not so caught up in the thoughts and the feelings and emotions about that event. That's how you know healing is happening. Healing is about freedom, y'all. It really is. It feels like anything but freedom. It feels very confined. It feels restricted at times, but it leads to freedom. So it's freedom from the past. It's freedom from being stuck in a cycle of thinking that no longer serves us. And it never really did. The thought patterns and belief systems, narratives, and scripts that were written by trauma and other ugly life events and experiences, they never really were intended to help us in the first place. It was a lie. A lot of the stuff, the reactions that we have to trauma and overall life, it's not accurate. So healing helps us to be able to uncover the truth behind some of those things that our trauma taught us. Freedom from the expectations and opinions of others. Yes. Love that part. That's been my favorite part. Actually, there's a couple of them. But that's definitely one of my favorite parts. Being free from the expectations and opinions of others is lit. Okay, my daughter just started her senior year today, so maybe I'm channeling some of the teenagerism, maybe. I don't know. But it's lit. Love that part. And freedom to be who we were created to be, which reminds me a little bit about Miriam's definition of healing: to restore to original purity and integrity. So we are free to be who we were created to be. Healing is about self-discovery. So before we can be free to be who we are created to be, we need to know who we are. So the process of self-discovery is amazing and a very vital piece of healing. We take the information we learn about ourselves. We learn this information from a non-judgmental standpoint. So we don't judge ourselves as good or bad. We just gather the information. It's like this is the information gathering stage where we find out the good, the bad, and the ugly. Remember, I talked about that in the last video. We find out a little bit about that. And then once we gather the information, then we make an assessment on the things that serve us, that help us, and the things that don't serve us and they hurt us. So we simply change the parts that don't, manage the parts that don't, and embrace the parts that do serve us. Healing brings new perspectives. Your whole mindset shifts. Boom. Your whole mindset shifts. And that's important because if what you were doing is working for you, you wouldn't be here probably watching this video anyway. So it brings about new perspectives. Healing challenges belief systems. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road for many people. Many people are so connected and ingrained with their belief systems from which they're not even sure where they came from. So a lot of us are taught things in life just because it's just the natural part of life. We're taught things and then we just regurgitate them. Few of us really step back and take the time to ask, well, what do I believe? Why do I believe this? And soul therapy is part of that. I'm not just talking about religion and spirituality. I'm talking about why do you believe that the sky is blue? I mean, all right, because it is. That could be an easy one. But you know what I'm saying. Challenging these things are where some people just cannot do it because it gets very uncomfortable to challenge things that you thought that you once believed and maybe you're questioning now. The belief systems and thought patterns are definitely influenced by healing, as they should be. And when we get to this point, then healing paves the way for a new abundant life. With new perspectives, a new mindset, knowing who we are, what we believe in, why we believe in them, and having a handle on our thought patterns, we can live the life we're meant to live. Doesn't mean that we're free from pain, but we can live a good life. So that is just my little piece on kind of what healing is and what it does for us. So how do we know we need healing? Some people, it's pretty clear. Some of us know that we know that we know. But then there's others of us that we don't really know. There's just something that's just a little off. I worked for 5 years as a sexual abuse specialist when I first started my career. And I thought I was good. I hadn't at that point dealt with my own personal history yet. But I thought I was good. I mean, I really did. And I was pretty good. I mean, definitely I could have done better as a healed person, but I did it. I didn't know I needed healing, but I did. And that would explain why that role was very challenging for me. So some other ways of how you know. If you have any mental health issue or diagnosis, you need healing. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, and even some forms of bipolar can be helped through this soul therapy process. If you have a more intense clinical mental health diagnosis or issue such as schizophrenia, PDD, it used to be called multiple personality disorder, but I think with the new DSM, that's how far removed I am at this point. They changed it to a different terminology, but you get what I'm saying. that needs clinical intervention in addition to some soul therapy. That's just what I believe. So, but if you have a mental health diagnosis, you need healing. Going around the same mountain over and over and over and over. I know I'm not the only one that went around that mountain 382 times. Yes, you need healing. If you feel lost, broken, or confused, all of those or just one of them, you need healing. If you just know in your knower that there's more, and you know you haven't tapped into it yet. There's more to life. There's just more. You can need some healing because you're seeking. You're searching for things. But you're missing out. You know you're missing out. So you need some healing. You're not sure who you are. It's huge. You have to know who you are to be able to have even a halfway decent life. So if you're not sure who you are, you can't tackle some of the things that you need to tackle. So we're walking around in bodies and just going through the motions, but we don't know who we are. So we're operating as these selves based on what other people told us we were. So we need to know who we are. And we need to know who we are in order to be connected to our God. The last one I have down here is if you feel far from God, you need healing. God didn't go nowhere. He did not leave you. He does not care about everybody else in the earth and not you. So if you're feeling far from him, I guarantee you're the one that moved. But I'm not saying that to make you feel shameful or guilty. I'm saying that so that you can realize that you actually have the control of how close you feel to God. Okay, so if you're feeling any of these things, those are just some indications. And I can sit here probably for another 15 minutes and go through more ways that we know we need healing. But I think you get the point. Are you ready for healing? Are you ready? Are you ready to join this movement with me? If so, let me know. I really am interested in what you guys think about this. Did I say anything that resonated with you? What thoughts come up for you? Are you ready for healing? Do you need healing? Where do you need it from? It doesn't have to be here with me. It really doesn't. I have a whole network of people that I can help hook you up so you can get what you need, but you need it. And that's the whole point of this. So take some time this week. I'll probably be popping back in so we can continue this discussion, in the comments, and we'll just keep going back and forth so we can really, get an understanding of what healing is and getting to the point where we say, I am making the decision to heal. So keep an eye out. Along with this video, I'm going to have a link to some of the courses that you can give me your email, and I can keep you posted each time that I develop a new course, because I'm getting a lot of feedback. People are not into, we don't have the life to live to keep having the one-on-one therapy, where we sit down together and that's how we do. I only have one client that sees me in person. Everybody else we do virtually. But not just that, the one-on-one gets it. We can get so much more in addition to the one-on-one by coming together and helping one another, which is why I'm creating these groups and these courses so that you can learn, apply some of this stuff on your own at your own pace. But whatever you do, y'all, just start. Even if you just start by commenting and saying, yo, I need some healing. Let's start to create the conversation, okay? And let's make the decision to heal. See you guys next Thursday. Bye.